We got a few things that we're going to get running through here. Quite a bit of detail here. One moment. Make sure that I can see your guys' chats. Welcome to the show. I appreciate it so much. Getting a few things in order here. Buddy Lee 147, thanks for joining. Izzy K9, just thanks for joining. To be a moment here, and we'll get things started with the show here. Appreciate y'all joining. Be sure, if you haven't followed, if you love weather as much as I do, or even a little bit, and especially if you're in the Texas area, today is a day that you need to be watching out. We'll get to all of that weather stuff here very shortly. I'm just waiting for a few others to join here. Be sure to share and share the live as well. Going to pull up Radar Omega here real quick. Before I do, I want to go ahead and give you guys an idea of what the outlook is for today. This is what we're looking at for today. Overall outlook, we do have slight risk in the yellow, marginal is the green. Just be aware of that. Just got to make sure I get my chat at the same time. For some reason, it's not quite working how I need it to. There we go. That way I can be able to see you guys. Want to be able to give you a thumbs up and whatever else. But anyhow, there is the slight risk, marginal risk, that does kind of shift marginal risk over into areas of Louisiana as well. And then the tornado risk is for today in Lubbock, Midland. We could even see that risk actually be pushed further to the east, but that remains to be seen. So areas of San Angelo, Abilene could be under the gun later today. Depends on how robust these storms could get. The other risks that are for today for Texas, we do have Amarillo, and all the way down to San Angelo has that severe wind risk and wind threat for today. Much of this is expected. Let me go ahead and refresh that, see if there we go. I apologize. That's the latest. Looking at that times up in the upper corner. There we go. They just updated it at 7:46 this morning, so I had these pulled up shortly before the broadcast. Thank you so much. Vidalia, Georgia. We'll get to Georgia here in a little bit. You guys are expecting a marginal risk for severe weather, not expecting any tornadic activity over in that area, maybe some gusty winds at times, maybe a few special weather statements where the gusts could get up to 50 to the low 60 in some areas of Georgia. I'll take a little deeper dive to Valdalia here in a moment. So anyhow, these are the severe risks for wind outlook, and then the hail for Texas, Oklahoma. You guys have western part of Oklahoma with a slight risk for today. Looks like they updated that. Severe wind risk, western part of Oklahoma there as well. I'm hitting refresh. Sorry, guys. Severe hail outlook. All of those areas potentially impacted later today. It's going to be super, super late in the day for these northern edges of these storms. So just be aware of that. Be mindful. Kansas, let's go ahead and refresh this. That's the update. So they did push Kansas to have the slight risk for Pratt, Hutchinson, Wichita is included in that. Manhattan, Topeka. This is the overall outlook. And even Iowa, marginal risk for severe weather. That's a 1 out of 5. Ronald Bauer, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it so much. So the risks farther north are less, but we'll go ahead and take a quick peek. Looks like they did actually have this updated. That's surprising. 1 second. Looks like the Kansas is now got. Let me go ahead and get this pulled up here. Okay, that's Wednesday. Looking too soon. Hang on 1 second. Tornado outlook. There we go. All right, looks like Kansas, they did Pratt and Hutchinson, so you guys do now have tornado outlook there, 2 to 4%. 7772 Texas, this is your outlook for today. So there is a lot going on. You got a 2% risk for if you're in western part of Texas, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if areas of San Angelo and Abilene could end up with some severe winds. So if you're in that area, please, if you're able to, go ahead and share the live and follow Fort Stockton. Let me go to more of the radar information. We'll show you that here right now. Um, Appreciate y'all joining. All right, so we're going to currently show you the, all right, Fort Stockton. These are current latest weather models. These are estimates. This is not live radar right now. Just be aware of that. So Fort Stockton, late in the day, after 5 o'clock, you could start seeing some potential for some storms. Wouldn't be a bit surprised to see just north of you some hail. This could end up taking more of a southerly track. So Fort Stockton, be on the alert after 5 o'clock today. Vidalia, Georgia. Thanks for the reminder, D. All right, Vidalia, Georgia area. This is only able to go through midnight, so I apologize that I didn't get to you right away, but based on these estimates here, we're not seeing anything that suggests anything severe for Vidalia today. You're welcome, Isabel. Thanks so much. Thanks for the follow, Izzy. Oklahoma area. We'll get the timing of that. Zoom in on that a little bit. Salina, Kansas. We'll get that next. Oklahoma area. This is again timing estimate. This only goes through midnight, so just be aware. If you want to stick around with me, I'll go through some other weather models that go a little bit further out. So I appreciate if you can stick around with me and I'll take a look at some of those other areas if you're able to stay with me for a little while. But again, based on this, those times up top right here, they are in Central Daylight Time. Just be aware of that. APA, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Go ahead and smash the like as well as if you're able to send some gifts. That certainly helps with the algorithm as well and gets the exposure to. You're basically doing your part by being able to help others know about some of the severe weather risks that are today. So you could be kind of a little bit of a weather enthusiast, if you will. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Salina, Kansas. Uh, Extremely late in the evening, there's a possibility for some risks for Salina. It would be overnight hours for Salina. So upside down girl, hope that helps you. Again, these are radar estimates, so things could end up changing. but I certainly appreciate it. Hey, if any of you are weather enthusiasts and enjoy um, helping report weather and that type of thing like I do, if you want to become a moderator, just let me know. I would love to work with you. You can private message me, and I'd love to work with you on becoming a moderator in our chats for TikTok. It would be very helpful. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at tomorrow's risks on these estimates. I'm going to take a look at NAM 3K. We'll go down to Vidalia again here. All right, let's look at tomorrow's risks here. Doesn't look too impressive. I mean, there's a few scattered showers and thunderstorms for Vidalia tomorrow. Let me go ahead and pull up the outlook for day 2. Yeah, general thunderstorms is what the Storm Prediction Center has. So don't see anything huge for Vidalia for tomorrow. Upside down, Gary, you are welcome. And D00, I hope that helps you. All right, so let's go to day 3. All right, this is where I get a little concerned. They have a marginal risk, but I expect this area to actually end up getting into a slight risk. This is for day 3, so that would end up being on Thursday. So you're back under the gun, Oklahoma, Wichita, and Texas under the gun there for that. We'll have to take a look at GFS for that. Again, this is a look at radar estimates, and this is looking at the risk for 3 days out. So this would be looking at Thursday. We're looking at GFS, and we're looking at Thursday, the 24th here. Let's go back to that here a little bit. Northern edge, so 24th, if things get going, Wichita area, Kansas, I would suspect that they're probably based off of this. I would suspect this area is probably going to end up being a slight risk as they get the Storm Prediction Center gets some of their information in from the other weather models. They'll probably put that as a slight risk and probably a tornado risk in the northern edge there. How's the tornado outlook for Thursday? Unfortunately, SPC doesn't give that information, Izzy. Um, when they're 3 days out, usually the tornado risks are day 1 and day 2 because anything that's farther than 48 hours is very, very difficult. The best that we can do right now is this 5%. Um, basically, kind of the Kansas area and maybe even the Oklahoma area could end up seeing that. Let's take a look at some of the other factors that I look at is 500 millibar wind. If I kind of scan this a little bit further, again, this is day 3, Thursday outlook. So just be mindful, this is not for today right now. Waiting for that scan to come in. And what I'm watching for here is the area of low pressure out by Las Vegas there. Moving on in. Nothing really looks that impressive on GFS until you get into the late part of the month. And that's when things really ramp up quite a bit. Let me remove this real quick. So again, this is possibility of North Tulsa for Thursday, a possibility. Let me go ahead and get back to day 1 here so we can kind of get everything. Tulsa, today you are in general thunderstorms. Great question, Patty Burke. I appreciate it. We are looking at today's outlook as well as kind of the 500 millibar wind. And what we do with this is we're able to kind of see where those low pressures and high pressures are. Uh, Let me kind of point them out here for you a little bit. Again, you're looking at day one outlook. This is marginal risk in this green here. Any of the greens are the marginal risk, and then you have the yellows, that is the slight risk. I appreciate all the joins, and feel free to share the stream for those folks that may not be aware of what's going on. Landry Mahan, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate that. All right, I do need to get to some South Dakota weather here. That's where I'm based out of. So I do need to make sure that my Facebook folks are aware of what's going on in South Dakota because we do have some weather that we're expecting toward the end of the month as well, but I just want to give them information as well. So here's what we have today, 70s. We're expecting tomorrow to drop down a little bit, but we do have that precip chances, just general thunderstorms, maybe some general thunderstorms for tomorrow. Into the weekend, we are expecting uh, a, attempts for that marginal risk of severe weather to make its way to Sioux Falls, but we'll have to see how that plays out. But again, Saturday, Sunday is probably the biggest day that we're kind of watching out for, as we can see those winds kind of bring in that moisture from the south and the southeast. So we will see possibility of some thunderstorms for your Saturday and Sunday. Monday, we could even have a lingering storm or two early on in the day. Depends on how things really ramp up. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Aberdeen, South Dakota. We do have Wednesday, Thursday. Those are kind of your big days for the start of the rain. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all rain chances. Sunday again ends up being kind of the day where there's a risk or a little bit of a risk of some of those thunderstorms being marginally severe. Rapid City, that's out west, western South Dakota. We are expecting to see, yes, snow in some areas tonight. That's a very small risk, maybe about 20%. And then Thursday, Friday, we get some more of that wonderful rain moisture that we need in our area. And then Pierre, South Dakota, stormy for much of the week. So this is pretty much your last good day if you want to get out and do some fun activities outside. All right, let's go ahead and get back to the main show here. I appreciate y'all joining. I'm going to go ahead and move things over back to the weather model information here. Again, appreciate you staying with us. We wanted to make sure that we covered our South Dakota friends as well, because that's where I'm based out of. All right, so this is the risk for today, and I'll outline it again here. If I get radar omega off. Tornado risk for today is in areas of Lubbock, Midland, and then west of San Angelo. Your slight risk or overall risk is covering Childress, parts of western Oklahoma, and then severe wind risk as well for western Oklahoma. Severe hail, again, western Oklahoma. There even is in the upper northern tier of Oklahoma a tornado risk that kind of misses a little bit in here, but does have that as well in Kansas. Kansas does have that risk there as well. And then if I go back here 1 second, cover some of these areas as well. We do have Birmingham, Gadsden, Talladega, Tuscaloosa. A lot of those areas are in the marginal risk, so not expecting anything huge. There is no real tornado threat at this time for those. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that very much. And then even if we go over to areas of North Carolina, we do have that risk for marginal risk of severe weather as well into those parts. All right, I'm making this live a little shorter today. Don't have as much engagement, which is fine, but there's not really a whole lot expected to go on until way late in the evening. I'll do one more sweep of the latest information from HRRR, and I'm going to shut off these risks. Again, reminder, one moment here. This is the risk for today. Wichita, Topeka, Woodward, Elk City, Lubbock, Odessa, all the way in here are all impacted by the slight risk. Okay. We go to the radar estimates of composite reflective, and then I will also show you the significant tornado parameters. Anything severe for North Carolina? Marginally severe. Thanks, Fledaz. Marginally severe risk for areas of North Carolina. And doesn't look like things get going there until sometime after 1 o'clock. Charlotte area, based on this latest scan, Winston-Salem, those areas would probably be a concern around between 2 and 4 o'clock. Things get initiated. Could see some marginally severe hail and some wind gusts, but nothing too excessive. Tornado risk, we'll take a look at that. There is no tornado risk for North Carolina at this point in time, and I'll show you that information here right now. Tornado risk is, make sure this is updated. 1 second, Radar Omega is having some issues. Or I went to day 2. Yep, I did. Whoops. There we go. All right, so the tornado risk for today is isolated to areas like south central part of Kansas and then western portions of Texas. Fort Smith, Arkansas, Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska, you're good today. You do have a slight risk for tomorrow, I believe. Well, they haven't got a slight risk right now for Omaha, but I do suspect that to change. Just be aware that things could change right now for tomorrow. That's expected to be a marginal risk as of right now, anyhow. And then for tomorrow, the tornado risk, again, along western part of Kansas as well as extreme western part of Oklahoma and western Texas. That's for tomorrow. Back to today, Fort Smith, Arkansas. Let's go ahead and take a look at Fort Smith, Arkansas. It looks like you're outside of any risk factors for today. And we'll take a look at the factors for tomorrow while we're here. General thunderstorms is what they have for tomorrow. They meaning the Storm Prediction Center. And pretty much general thunderstorms for the next couple of days. So getting some moisture for sure in Fort Smith. Oh, okay. Hang on 1 second. Let's see if is everybody else able to hear fine? I just want to make sure that my audio is okay. Pat C says you're awesome. Thanks bunches. You're welcome. Okay. Just get this audio here. So my audio is good, Jeff. Jeff is on Facebook here. All right, perfect. I'm glad you guys are able to hear. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and verify again the risks for today. And we're going to kind of play this out. That pin that I have there, that is for Fort Smith. Oh, Bowie or Bowie. I think it's pronounced Bowie, Texas. For today, you're on that marginal risk, but that shifts then tomorrow. You still end up being in the general thunderstorms. So um, keep alert because if these storms get moving, as I suspect that they will, super late in the day, overnight you could have some gusty winds and possibility of some very marginally severe hail in Bowie, Texas. Great question. Okay, so flat as the um, risk for North Carolina for tornado activity, since your sound was going out, there is no risk for the next couple of days for the tornado risk at this point in time. Joplin, Missouri. Make sure we keep day one risks on. Day one risks are there. We'll run through a scan here. HRRR. I appreciate the follows, folks. And if you're able to, go ahead and get the light up the gifts. That would be awesome for my TikTok followers. Right now, as it shows here, you're okay in Joplin, at least for the next 24 hours. Don't see anything too alarming. Mexia, Texas. Right now, day one has you in the general thunderstorms, so not expecting any. I mean, if you love rain, then great. But again, as you can see on the scan, radar estimates, Mexia, Texas, looks like it kind of dies out once it gets to you. Chicago, Illinois. We're looking at day one. Chicago, Illinois, you're in a marginal risk for severe weather. Marginal risk is the other than general thunderstorms is kind of the lowest. You're expecting some rain later today, but that would be way late in the evening. After 6 p.m., according to this latest HRRR weather scan. And then tomorrow, expecting some of those, again, marginally severe storms to move in early morning hours, in the early morning hours of tomorrow in Chicago. Nashville, Davenport, Iowa. All right, we're getting things going here, folks. Goodness. Jeff, thanks so much for the lightning bolt. Appreciate it. And Davenport, Iowa. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. And that's for today. You're in that marginal risk. We do not have a tornado risk as of right now for Davenport, Iowa, and I don't suspect that they're going to have that either for today. But this is the scan expected overnight hours in Davenport. Some general thunderstorms and marginally severe could have potential for some slight hail, not anything too significant, and some gusty winds, 50 mph. Okay, Nashville, Bearded Thrifter. I will get to that right now. Nashville, Tennessee. Make sure I'm still looking at day one. Yes. All right, let me go back to a GFS model to kind of see the whole weekend. Again, this is one weather model that we can look at. Um, and reminder, this time up here is in Central Daylight Time. So if you're in the East Coast, like Tennessee, or parts of Tennessee, anyways, then be mindful to add an hour on that. All right, looks like for the weekend, your 25th, 26th time frame looks like Bowling Green area of Kentucky, and then Nashville expects some um, light showers. Don't expect anything too huge. I will need to go to day 3 outlook to kind of get a better idea of that. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center has just general thunderstorms, but since obviously weather can change quite quickly, just be mindful of that. Take a look here. This is the 28th and 29th. I don't want to go too far into that, but I expect things to really ramp up in the Central Plains at the end of this month. When is the next chase? Whenever I could get some time away from work and all the doctor's visits, Jeff. It's definitely difficult. I would suspect that I won't be able to do anything until probably May. Wife's got her cupcake business stuff going, and she has a tasting event going on, so it's going to be a little tough. You agree. Well, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that very much. All right, Longview, Texas. I missed that one. Ashley Reyes, thank you so much for the follow. Big John 369 followed me. Thank you so much. Troy, Illinois. Um, Troy, Illinois, and hi, Xander. How are you doing? And hopefully you're still on. I get some of the information kind of slow on here, so. All right. So for the weekend, basically, you're expected just general thunderstorms in Tennessee area. Bearded Thrifter, thanks so much. All right, let me get back to HRRR so that we can see the latest information and of a scan. And then we're going to go to Texas here. We're going to go further south. Texas, Longview. Longview, Texas. Taking a moment here. So a lot of pin drops. Longview, Texas is right here, uh, west of Shreveport. Looks like probably heavy wind threat, maybe some hail tomorrow afternoon. But again, I would be leery on believing that timing of it. And the reason why I would be leery of it is because depending on how much cloud cover is around, um, could have capping of the atmosphere. Let me just remind folks what capping is. Breaking the cap, you have a stable layer of air mass that is stopping the storms from really getting explosive. So just be mindful of that. And so that's why we're concerned for that. Apologize. Get my radar omega back up here. So just be aware that this could change quite a bit. Right now, as it stands, 2 o'clock time frame for tomorrow afternoon, uh, pending the updates. Oh, wow. Somebody sent, oh, Jeff, thanks so much for sending the gift. Appreciate it. Hey, Jeff, one of these times, maybe I'll have to see if you want to be a moderator for me. I need somebody to moderate in here because it gets kind of busy, which is great. Thanks for following, Chuck. Thank you very much for following Lubbock, Texas tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at Lubbock. You guys are in a tornado risk. I'll remind you of the tornado risk with the SPC information that we have here. You're in that tornado risk, and so let's take a look and see how that's expected to play out possibly. This is the latest scan from HRRR weather model estimate. Lubbock, sometime late tonight after 4 o'clock is what we're expecting. So stay weather aware and be close to your area of shelter after 4 p.m. today. All right, Jeff, you're free on weekends. Well, that'll be great. I'll have to figure out how to work that as best as I possibly can. I'll coordinate you via text. Chanute, Kansas. Just a reminder, we are looking at radar estimates of storms. We don't have any active storms right now. I got to close out of this so I can get some of those pin drops to go away. So we don't get confused with all the pin drops here. All right, you're not in the tornado risk, thankfully, but you are in the general thunderstorms risk for Chanute, Kansas. And then I'll check Margaret, Alabama. Chanute, Kansas, expect those to be just general thunderstorms. I don't see anything too alarming. West of there, maybe late tomorrow. But again, not anything too significant. All right, Margaret, Alabama. And then I'm going to let y'all go. I do need to get to work. So I appreciate y'all following and I appreciate the gifts. I can't spell today. I can never spell, which is odd because I used to be a champion of spelling. Let me go down to Alabama itself. Hang on one moment here. Francine, thank you so much. You weather people that get on the app to tell us the weather is the best. There we go. All right, Margaret, Alabama. Well, the thing about this, Francine, is this app pulls it in from the National Weather Service. But we also look at these weather models to kind of get a rough idea. So we do have a special weather statement for north of Margaret, Alabama right now. This is probably going to be 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, 40, and pea-size hail. So that would be a cluster of strong thunderstorms over Blountsville, moving east at 20. Nothing real impactful. Um, expect some later on development based on this estimate. There could be some hail in these estimates here later this afternoon if the cloud cover continues to dwindle away and get the cap broken. But you're in a marginal risk for today. Ankeny, if it was not for y'all, we'd be in the dark. Ugh. Well, thank you. I appreciate it so much. Ankeny, Iowa, please. All right. And then Shelbyville, Indiana, and Peru. I got to write these down. I'm going to forget. Hang on one second. Ankeny, Iowa, Shelbyville, and Peru, Illinois. See, this is why I need a moderator. All right, so I'm going to get Ankeny, Iowa, Shelbyville, Indiana, and Peru, Illinois, and then I will say my goodbye. Hang on a moment here. Ankeny, Iowa. Marginal severe risk, not a tornado risk at all for today, but again, expecting to have probability of maybe some gusty winds at times, and that would be late in the day. As you can see, this radar estimate puts things um, basically after 10 p.m. And then let me kind of show you what tomorrow's risk is real quick for that area. General thunderstorms, but we do have this marginal risk over in Omaha area. So things could change. It could move farther north. That remains to be seen. We go back to day one outlook, today's outlook, and then let me get to Shelbyville, Indiana. Shelbyville, Shelbyville, Indiana, and then Peru, Illinois. Please, if you have not followed yet, go ahead and make sure that you follow. We do these weather updates every day, 8 a.m., like clockwork, Central Daylight Time. And so if you want to know weather and if you want to know what's happening in your neck of the woods, you definitely want to follow. All right, so we're not expecting anything today for areas of Shelbyville, Indiana. It does show with the HRRR weather model as well as the Storm Prediction Center that you're outside of any risk for today. Thanks, Blake Reeder, for the follow. Dominic, thanks for the follow. And thanks for the likes. I appreciate that so much. If you feel the content is awesome and you're appreciated of the content, I really would appreciate if you're able to financially gift. It doesn't cost a whole lot. So let's go ahead and take a look at Peru, Illinois. Right now, this pin drop here is Peru, Illinois. And we're really not expecting anything too significant until, again, late in the day, after 4 p.m. And that would be mainly gusty winds, marginally severe hail. Again, I don't see anything that's really picking up. I mean, it's going to be a lot of rain. We can kind of take a look real quick at the, sorry folks, Peru, Illinois is the last one that I'm doing today. So I appreciate all that have just joined as well, but I'm not going to be able to stay on here. I do have to get to my full-time job, so I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to take a look at the risks, the other factors that we have concerns about. I'm going to shut off these alerts, the Storm Prediction Center information. Scan out here and give you the excessive rainfall outlooks for today. So if you're in this area at all, this is the excessive rainfall outlook. It's a marginal risk. Marginal risk of excessive rainfall across portions of the Texas Panhandle into western Oklahoma and central Gulf Coast into the southeast. So we do also have areas of Baton Rouge. These are an excessive rainfall outlook. Just basically means that because what's happening with this system is it's expected to stall out somewhat. It's going to keep on replenishing over the same areas over and over again. It's going to stall out and keep that rain going. So thanks again, everybody, for the follows. I would love to get to all of the other ones, but I do have to let you all go because I got to go to work or else I'm going to be late. You guys have a great rest of your day. Again, I'll be here tomorrow, 8 a.m., and we'll do more outlooks. I will not be live today for any storm chasing. I'm in South Dakota, so it would be impossible for me to get down to Texas. But um, if you get a chance, make sure that you follow on Facebook as well as my YouTube channel. YouTube and Facebook, I'm allowed to go live for in the field storm chasing, but TikTok I'm not. So